Hey, I thought I'd tell you what it sounds like a crazy story, but this is what happened to me. When I was in my early 20s, I was doing yoga in my New York apartment. I was a stewardess back then, and I got into yoga and I loved it. So I was alone and I was doing my asanas. And at the end, I was relaxing in the death pose, just lying there, totally relaxed, when this feeling came over me that was so powerful that I was a man and I was in a hot, steamy little room, very badly burned, very, very badly burned, waiting for a doctor to come in to save me somehow. And it didn't happen. I died. Later on, I was having flashes of that life. And I've always felt that I was a pilot born in England that joined the Royal Air Force back in World War II and flew cargo to the continent of Europe during the war. And I got shot down. And I somehow survived to the point that I was on the ground, but I was badly injured, badly burned, and I didn't make it. And I came back very quickly. I was reborn in 1946, right after the war. But I believe that one of my deals in this life was to figure out how to be spiritually healed without medication, without any kind of medical intervention, if I needed that kind of help. And I did master that, because when I was confronted with my greatest fear in this life, which I created, which was the fear of cancer, I manifested it and I had a spontaneous healing. Now, the interesting thing about spiritual healing is you have to believe that you can be healed. If you don't believe, if you don't have an open mind, I intuitively knew that it was possible for us to heal ourselves by going to that higher consciousness, that level of consciousness where anything is possible. And I was able to do that. And the other thing about healing is to meet the right person that might be the one that can trigger that event, because they have unconditional love. You know, whatever holds thought in line with unconditional love receives directly the divine power. That's a very powerful statement. Those are the healers, the ones that don't judge, they don't question, they don't doubt, they just know that it is possible. And there are people on this planet that think like that have achieved that level of consciousness where they're living in the realm where everything is possible and miracles are natural. The supernatural is natural. And I found a person who was a believer like that, who triggered this spontaneous healing. And when you have a spontaneous healing, very much like a near-death experience, it takes you to a higher realm, a place where there are no problems because you've solved your big problem, you've had your healing, but it opens you up to amazing possibilities. You begin to understand that you're so much more than your physical self. You are eternal. You have superpowers when you know how to activate your mind in order to use it when need be to solve problems, to pull yourself out of dire situations, to overcome fear when it comes up. Because that's one of the other big lessons that we learned while we're here on planet Earth. We set up fearful situations, probably because, you know, we're here to learn. It's a classroom. So you set up these situations where you're going to be tested and you'll have to overcome your fear rather than buying into it or succumbing to it or letting it overwhelm you. If you stand up to fear and you tell it to take a hike by saying something like, one with God is a majority. I used to do that all the time on the airplane if we get into severe turbulence. When I say one with God is a majority, no matter what kind of situation I'm in, I feel like I'm in a protective bubble where nothing can hurt me. and harmony comes back. That's the important part. Harmony is natural. Discord is unnatural.